welcome you to BeMoreNews.com, the news before the news, where we uncover the truth.
And absent, we need God. Only God can bring us out of this mess.
All right. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. First name's Doni, last name's Glover. In it to win it for the long haul, baby. So, had a community meeting last night. Proud to report that our state senator Antonio Hayes is leading the West North Avenue Authority. And if you don't know what that is, you stay tuned to this show and we're going to make sure you know all about it. But long story short, they got a lot of money coming to North Avenue, at least on the west side. $950,000 and $1 million in capital that the senator was able to get legislated for West North Avenue. That's a beautiful thing. So today we're going to talk with Brother Abdul Salaam. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning. Wonderful, and yourself, Doni?
Man, I'm blessed by the best. Tell them, who are you, Abdul Salaam?
Abdul Salaam. I'm one of the executives of Keys Development, Keys Empowers. I am just a community civilian, Doni, trying to do the hard work of West Baltimore, and the delivery of my organization, our organization Keys, of doing that work is mental health. So we do a lot of programming in Baltimore, specifically West Baltimore, throughout the state. But West Baltimore is our hub to heart. And that's how I like to think that I deliver some community activism as well, through a lot of the deliverance of community engagement. We show our young people how to community engage. So that's who I am, Doni.
Where you from?
Originally, I am from Newark, New Jersey.
Brick City?
Brick City, Doni. Yes, sir. Exit 14 on the park, on the turnpike. Yes,
Sharp
sir.
James was the mayor up there.
Sharp James was the mayor.
Ross Baraka right now?
Ross Baraka right now. Absolutely. Absolutely. I would also like to say that I got my first political involvement and engagement with, or through, I should say, a brother named Carl Sharif, who was the campaign manager for Cory Booker, and was responsible for launching Cory's political campaign in Newark, New Jersey.
You know, Newark, New Jersey has
one second, Doni. 1 second.
So we're talking with Abdul Salaam from Keys Development, and in a minute he's going to tell us about his.
I'm back, Doni. I'm sorry.
Latest project, but what I wanted to say is that Newark, New Jersey has as interesting a black political history as does Baltimore.
Absolutely.
I mean, I think going back to the riots.
Absolutely.
Newark has some of you may have had the worst riots on the East Coast.
This is a fact, Doni. It's funny that you speak of that. You asked who I am to go even further. Right? Will we go to 1 second?
So, talk with Mr. Abdul Salaam from Keys Development. We're gonna get back to this. You let them know you on this. Hey, tell them treat us like CNN there, because they keep doing this. Don Lemon and them don't be playing that.
So, pardon me, Donnie, doing the work at the same time. So you got me I'm in the office and just multitasking. 1 second. Let me. So you asked who I am, right? And then we
got into Newark, New Jersey, political history, the riots.
Absolutely. So my father and mother were both part of the original FOI movement in Newark, New Jersey. Part of the first Black Muslims, if you will, here in America. If I'm not sure if you're familiar with the program from Netflix and in reference to the documentary of Malcolm X and who assassinated Malcolm X. My father actually had two masjids or mosques in Newark at the time, okay, and was sent to medical school, okay, by Captain James, who they speak of in the piece. Graduated medical school in 3 years down here at Howard Medical School. Did his residency here at Howard. Well, not here, but in the DMV, I should say. At Howard, my mother is a recently retired federal, superior judge in Essex County as well. The first Muslim superior judge, a female superior judge in New Jersey. So it's a long history of civil activism, of engagement, of through Newark, as you speak of, through the riots. I've grown up and heard firsthand stories of the change politically firsthand from both of my parents.
Let me ask you this. Have you ever heard of Burlington Island, New Jersey?
I am familiar with Burlington, New Jersey.
Okay. Well, you're going to have to get my book, I Am Black Wall Street. We talk about freedom colonies. And that's how we got a little bit of echo, so I'm going to be muting this. We talk about freedom colonies. And in my research, it was revealed that Burlington Island, New Jersey is considered the cradle of emancipation. Right there in New Jersey, not far away on the map. It's considered the cradle of emancipation. There's a storyline that's been painted, and we ought to believe it, that Black people just took slavery like it was a walk in the park. And I'm here to remind us all that wherever there was slavery, there was an Abdul Salaam or a Donnie Glover fighting against it.
Agreed. I agree.
So you had a big event about a week ago. What happened?
So last week, we were fortunate enough to have the groundbreaking for the Keys Healing Village at 1511 Ashburton. A long time coming, not just for Keys, but for Baltimore and West Baltimore specifically.
Now, I got to tell you, back in the day, there was, we used to come through that neighborhood. I was over by Easterwood. And we had to come through that neighborhood to get up to Lamel. And long story short, you better know somebody down there in Ashburton. But they had two twins live down there, and they were the dancingest cats you ever met. But anyway, why that neighborhood? How'd you pick that neighborhood?
That's funny. That's a funny question. And while we were in the market, if you will, that's a funny even consciousness even saying that, how you're in the market for a building, for property of that magnitude. But we fortunate enough, we were built to a capacity where we're looking for a building to put our programming in. And it was between two areas, all right? It's between either where we are, and the other choice was in the Hollowbird area. And if you're familiar, that's the area where Kevin Plank has decided to do some development. And most
Ain't nobody down there right now.
Nobody's down there, and most people try to sway us in that direction because Kevin Plank put in so much money and things of that sort. And to us, to me, it made sense to be in an organic area where we were. We're in two schools with
that's like when Jamal put the Freddie Gray Center down on Utah Street. Nice idea, wrong location. Let's keep it real.
So we're already functioning in two schools that are within 3 blocks of 1511 of the Healing Village.
So what you got, Central Rosemont?
No, we're at Matthew A. Henson.
You're Henson. That's my school.
And the old Lamel, which is now Connections.
That's my school too, Lamel.
So Don, you know what time it is, Don.
I'm trying to tell you, we had to come through that neighborhood. Listen, you had to fight every day coming through there. Every day.
Can I ask you a question? If I go straight down Baker, what school I'm gonna run into?
At the bottom, where Ashburton and Bradish is.
Right. If I come right out of there at a Healing Village and I run straight down Baker, what school am I gonna run into?
Well, it's two of them.
Matthew A. Henson.
At that end, over your way, on the other side of Baker Street, is that school in there? Is that Central Rosemont? That's not Central
Rosemont on that end.
Central Rosemont.
Absolutely.
And let me say this.
If I come straight down Dukeland, what I'm running into, Donnie?
Dukeland, you're gonna run into Central Rosemont.
And Lamel.
And Lamel up the top of the hill.
And Lamel up the top of the hill.
They also have a property over there. Mm-hmm. Did it come up? The old Lutheran hospital?
No.
It's a big property.
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely.
So in that area, did you know historically there was a time when Black people could not live west of Fulton Avenue and could not live north of North Avenue?
Absolutely.
So when you consider the pathway of integration in the city of Baltimore, that particular area that you're in started being populated in the 50s, and it became a sort of Black middle class enclave, if you will.
And now, just think of the transformation, the historical transformation and symbolism that's going to be created through this gentrification here. This will be a hub for, in the daytime, your elderly. In the evening time, for your youth. And the conduit, the vehicle to bring the relationship of those two will be our Coppin students through apprenticeships and internships and career development.
Now, tell me about the Coppin piece. Coppin is on board. I mean, they're just getting a new president. You know, they're getting involved with the North Avenue Authority. I know the potential of Coppin. What potential do you see with Coppin, the Coppin partnership?
Well, this wouldn't be the valuable project that it is and the community partnership that it is without Coppin State University. So Coppin was one of the significant decisions of our vision for the redevelopment of West Baltimore in general. If Coppin were not the anchor institution it were, being right there, West Baltimore and the trajectory wouldn't be what it is.
Well, let me just say I'm glad to hear this. Having grown up down the street from Coppin, down around Easterwood Park, Moreland, and Baker, shout out to all of the Easterwoodians. It is very warming to hear about Coppin's involvement. As you know, Coppin used to have a president who was there for 32 years. Still with me? His name is Dr. Calvin Burnett. And after him, they had like 5 or 6 presidents who stayed 2 years, 1 year, 3, 4 years. But there hasn't been a real consistency, if you ask me. I mean, Dr. Battle did a pretty noble job, but he ended up leaving and going down to the Aggies where they kicked him to the curb. But what I mean is our mother, Coppin, deserves a long-term partner. See, we tired of them temporary. Let me take y'all. We tired of the temporary stepdads. We want the real dad. Come on in.
You see these colors right here? It's no mistake that we share the same colors, Donnie. Some things are just divine, right? And that's a good sign for Baltimore. I know that's a good sign for Baltimore. And we have a strong partnership with new president Anthony Jenkins. He was there at the groundbreaking. He believes and knows what this partnership means for Coppin, the growth of Coppin, not only in the city and in the state, but nationally. We have a national vision for Coppin and West Baltimore.
I'm all for it. I just want you to understand, we from Missouri, the show me state. So again, we've seen Dr. Burnett there. Since then, there was Dr. Stanley Battle, Dr. Avery, Maria Thompson. And when you have that consistent turnover, there's a lack of stability. That's like mom's dating. You know, every time you look up, it's like a different dude. And it's like, you know, you're looking for that one dude to guide the ship. And so we certainly pray that Dr. Jenkins, I saw him in person for the first time Friday out at Wayne Frazier's event. We certainly pray that Dr. Jenkins will stay around, because beyond the presidency, it's also about Coppin's role in the community. And going back to when I was growing up over there, Coppin was one of the places we could go up there to play basketball. We could go up there to go swimming. And it's these type of partnerships. Those were the type of activities that saved many of our lives. I mean, you think of the recreation center Desert in West Baltimore. We're happy for Dr. Dorothy Height Elementary down there in North and Linden. But when we learn at Be More News that the young people in that vicinity of Dorothy Height cannot go inside Dorothy Height, it becomes a very problematic situation. When we hear about O'Malley bringing billions of dollars to Baltimore for 21st century schools, yet our kids can't go into the schools, we like, hold up, pimping. Somebody lying.
No, I understand that, and I get that, and that's why I speak much more than just local, right? We have to have a wider trajectory. Coppin is an institution, so while it is important and significant for it to be a community anchor, we also, for the growth and for the development, no pun, that you speak of, that's why it's important for Coppin as an institution and an HBCU. And I'm proud to speak of that narrative here on the Black Wall Street. As an institution, we must make sure that we broaden its worldwide platform.
I'm glad you say that. And let me just jump in. I've heard Morgan State, and I'm a student there. I hear Morgan State and some of its rhetoric talking about how diverse the campus is. As a Black man in Baltimore, we don't want to hear nothing about diversity. We didn't heard that rhetoric. We go to a Black school because we want a Black orientation, a Black camaraderie, a Black network that's strong, articulate, educated. We don't want to hear about Morgan State welcoming all it. I personally don't. It was a Black college built for the purpose of educating Black people first and foremost. And a lot of times we get that wandering eye and we forget about our sole purpose. You know, I don't play with academics because what we're dealing with out here is life and death. And so to see Key's development blocks from Freddie Gray, mind you, this is some of the first attention West Baltimore has gotten since Freddie Gray, and that's been 7 years.
All of everything that you speak of is dittoed and echoed from me, Donnie. You're speaking to a Morgan State alum. All right. You're speaking to someone who founded this business and organization on the grounds of Morgan State. You're speaking to someone who Morgan State in East Baltimore saved my life by taking me from Brick City and bringing me to East Baltimore and showing me and giving me an education that has now helped me develop and broaden minds in West Baltimore. And through that, that's why I understand the importance of HBCUs. I understand the chance that HBCUs gave a young man such as myself, such as Muhammad, such as Keith. We're all HBCU grads. Muhammad is from Brick City as myself, but Keith is from East Baltimore. Keith is the person who gave me the pass to be able to go outside, if you will, in East Baltimore. So I understand what that means in Baltimore. I understand what the connectivity of institution to community means.
So let me just touch on that. That's something that we've not seen enough of. I go back to Freddie Gray. It wasn't Coppin, it wasn't Morgan, it was the University of Maryland that's banging on my door, asking for insight, asking for tours. And what I'm getting to is when things happen in the Black community, I would like to see Morgan and Coppin being the first academic institutions responding, not University of Maryland, not Hopkins, Morgan and Coppin. So, you know, a lot of times academics, we're here to train students and get them on through graduation, but also that institution has an innate role in the community in which it is in. Let me share a little quick story about Dr. Calvin Burnett. He walked from Coppin to the harbor and back every day. I'm going to say it again. Dr. Calvin Burnett, the 32-year president at Coppin, back when it was a college, walked from Coppin State, that's 2500 West North Avenue, to the harbor and back every day. Imagine the relationships he built. When people see you every day coming, you become family. North Avenue, Pennsylvania Avenue, all the way through Bolton Hill or wherever, you get a different sense. You get a different view of the land than you do from one of them tall towers up there on Coppin State. Your thoughts?
Absolutely. And just to go back to a previous point that you were making in reference to, Freddie Gray, incident happened walking distance from the Hill and Village. My situation in 2013 when police tried to kill myself and my son happened walking distance from Morgan State. Right? So it will not, those type of narratives, those type of issues will never be forgotten, will always be instituted into the, not the struggle, but the mindset of redefining who we are. And it's institutions, scholastic institutions, who we know are important in that fight for several reasons, right? From a not only from a scholar standpoint, we have important scholars that are sitting and servicing in these institutions, but also from a historical record standpoint, right? So in order for our plights to be documented historically the right way, it is our institutions, scholastic institutions, that will hold in the record books what we did today and of yesteryear.
Abdul Salaam, who is Lieutenant Governor Boyd Rutherford to you?
Lieutenant Boyd Rutherford for us is a strong supporter. He is a gentleman that has been a man of his word, and that's what we ask of any politician and elected official that we encounter.
Nah, bro, he got that scarlet letter. He got that Republican R on his chest. You deal with Republicans?
You said, do I deal with Republicans? I deal with any individual that's going to look to help our community, and be honest and with me and individuals of my community.
I would agree. I concur. He is a man of his word. If he tells you he's going to do something, or if he tells you something, in my 20 years of knowing him, he has stood by it. How important was it to have him involved in your project? I saw him at the grand opening. That's why I'm inquiring.
It was more than vital to have Lieutenant Governor a part of the vision. What we understand at Keys is that to have a greater Baltimore, we have to have a one Baltimore. And when I mean one, I mean a one mindset of whatever party anybody is a part of. So if there are good projects, if there are good people, we need to support that. We need to support them. We need to uplift them, because.
But that's challenging, because Baltimore's a 9-1 Democratic town, and a lot of people are only used to voting Democrat. But as we saw in 2002, as we saw in 2014, Black people in particular are getting increasingly tired of the Democratic rhetoric. We have one of the highest percentages of Black elected officials nationwide, both Baltimore and statewide. Yet, you look at West Baltimore, I mean, I love what Keys Development is doing. We're supposed to have 20 Keys developments around there.
Absolutely. So, Donnie, the most important politics to me isn't red, blue, or green, right? But it's ensuring that we get involved in politics itself. So, my charge as a community activist, as an individual that educates, engages young people and youth, is to assure that my young people are even understanding of what politics is. And that's nothing more or the most important of organizing on your block, in your family first, and then putting agendas together in your council, in your smaller part of your city, maybe your neighborhood or whatever the case may be. So understanding how politics works on a micro level to then grow to the macro, I think is the most important significant way of growing and changing our own politics in our community. So again, I think that red and blue is not the most important conversation for us to have, but more so, how do we become more proactive from a young standpoint? I'm teaching my young people, hey, why not shoot to be mayor at 25, 28 years old? It's happening. But it only happens when we understand and engage with political agendas and understand how to organize on a micro at a young age, and then developing a macro agenda.
I'm just going to state facts. Both Ehrlich and Hogan have put more money and resources on West North Avenue than anybody. So when they tell me who the hell, I remember when Anthony Brown was running for governor, they had signs straight up Liberty Heights, vote for the Democrats. You're going to have to come better than that, especially after I heard that delegate Marianne Lasante called Prince George's County the nigger district. I was through. But let's get back. You mentioned El Haj Malik El Shabazz earlier. I'm not going to let you off the hook that easy. I gotta refer back to Malcolm. He had a famous quote that said, "I had rather be who I am, a black man, and to claim membership with the most favored of any other race. I've been made sad when members of this or that particular race start claiming rights and privileges or certain badges of distinction on the grounds that they belong to this or that particular race, regardless of their own individual worth or attainment." Malcolm said that merit is in the long run recognized and rewarded. He said, "I say that here not to call attention to myself as an individual, but to the race to which I am proud to belong." What connection did your parents teach you about the community as a black man? Clearly, they laid down some guidelines for you to be connected to your community. And, you know, in church, they say, if you leave from this church, we want you to join another church. So you go from Newark to Baltimore, but you stay connected, not just with the faith community, with the mosques, with the Muslims, but also within the black community. Because honestly, big brother, a lot of us, we once we've arrived, all of a sudden our diction changes. All of a sudden, the way we look at things is just a little broader, and we lose that. The greens ain't got fat back no more. The greens are just salt and pepper. It's kind of bland.
Absolutely. So one, when you come from certain communities, Baltimore, when you come from North, there's a certain cloth, there's a certain authenticity that you have to have and able to do the work. right? So we're talking about actually doing the work. And both my parents were professionals, but they did the work. My father was a medical doctor, but my father did house calls on Prince Street and Muhammad Ali Avenue, and had me with him, right? Um, so to just being, and then play basketball right after that, you know, and so to just be involved like that from a young person, to see how the people connected with him, how he connected with people, and to understand when you want to change um, a community, you have to be part of the community, right? You can't go outside the community, then come back, then go outside the community, and that's what Keys Hill and Village is all about. And the term gentrification is all about, right? We don't want to have to send you to Massachusetts and Wisconsin to come back with the right thing and the thingamajig. No, we go on to LaMelle, then we go on to middle school LaMelle, then we go on to Coppin, and we're going to study up here and get all the degrees we need right here in the community. And we're going to do what we need to do right here in Hill and Village, everything right here. So to understand that we don't have to go outside to develop is a very empowering mindset. That's an empowering synergy that we need to get back to. Not that we need to have, that we need to get back to. Hence the HBCU. That's where they were created from, right? We had in the up into the 60s where all of our athletes came from HBCUs. So we have everything we need. It takes the mindset to develop and be patient enough to finish, which is an important word that I always like to use. A small word, but important. To finish the product and give the world what we know they are owed. Of our own. Of our own.
Lauryn Hill said in her travels all over the world that what differentiates one child from another is not ability, but access. Access to education, access to opportunity, access to love. What will Keys Empower offer? Ooh, my bad.
Yeah, absolutely fine. That. Keys Empowers will offer a community. It will offer a consistency. It will offer a vision. It will offer Baltimore all of the opportunity that we know we deserve. We will offer a hub of love. We will feed individuals nightly, and we know it's no better way to build and to form a sense of community but to break bread.
Same with a family.
Absolutely. But again, dwelling on that relationship with Coppin, there will be so many opportunities of education. We will have community housing for Coppin State University. So that interrelationship, we just can't wait, Donnie. It's I'm a Morgan alum, and they're doing some great things in East Baltimore. But I'm competitive too, right? So as great as the things that they're doing, the development is in East Baltimore. Again, that's where a one Baltimore mindset comes into effect again, because we will assure that we are being included and inclusive in the development of Baltimore. And that's why I'm proud of both HBCUs. I'm proud of the Bears. I'm proud of the Eagles. And again, the intricacy of their platforms in the community, their sense of synergy and what they bring as an anchor in a community is going to be so important from a worldwide perspective. Again, the nation needs to listen. We see them on TV. Did you see? If you're watching the NBA All-Star game, Morgan's on there. We're looking forward to having the battle of the beltways. Some of these 5-star athletes, we look to change those type of narratives when you talk about keys and power. So we're looking to bring some 5-star.
Let me just put, I got to throw this in there, Abdul Salaam, for the athletes. I don't care about no more damn athletes coming out the black community. We had a lot of come out of Baltimore. We need some new damn wrecks. So if we're not building athletes that have a connection to the community, I don't care that your son won the Heisman Trophy. If he don't know how to give back, he's of no use to me. That's my thought.
Well, Donnie, when I'm speaking just about the HBCUs again. So when I speak of the athlete, I'm speaking of the 5-star athlete not going to the PWI. I'm speaking of the 5-star athletes going to Morgan, going to Coppin, right? So we can have the East Side, West Side on ESPN. How fantastic is that, right? And uplifting those
or develop our own ESPN, because Morgan has television capabilities.
There we go.
Coppin got a lot of money. We need our own. See,
here we go.
So nobody's blocking us because we put up too many Black History posts. We need our own. You know, we got rappers with $1 billion. It's time that we get some distribution, some network. You know, Elon Musk bought Twitter. We need to buy our own or build our own. Because I'm tired of people telling me I put up too much Black history. They want me to put up, you know, rainbows and.
No, you're absolutely fine, Donnie. And we, like I said, building blocks, right? So we want to not have one facet that we're developing. We want to tackle and add on each facet and create the vision. And no vision is too big. No vision is too small.
What will the building look like?
The building will be a state-of-the-art hotel quality building. Everything, all the bells and whistles will be brand new. If you could imagine, we'll have over 20 office suites in the building, a restaurant quality kitchen and cafeteria in the building, a transformable into a gala quality ballroom chandeliers. We will have a gymnasium, training facility, computer labs, audio recording and broadcast studio. We'll have an aquatic center for our elderly. We'll have physical therapy for our elderly. We'll have programming during all types of day programming for our elderly. We'll feed.
I'm looking for some reference to food, because that is a food desert.
Yes. So again, we'll have a restaurant quality kitchen and cafeteria, and we'll be feeding individuals every night. Over 100 individuals every night will be able to eat at this facility. It's a 4-stage project. The last stage will be student housing for at least Coppin State University.
Abdul Salaam, we're very proud of you. How long have you been working on this project?
This project has been in the development for over 3 years, and just blessed to be at this point, and a lot of learning that we've accomplished to get to this point. A lot of tug, but it's well worth it. And we know the finished product will be a development that Baltimore deserves. It'll be well utilized for Baltimore, and we know that it is part of the trajectory for that one Baltimore that we know we need to be included.
What is your prayer for Baltimore?
My prayer for Baltimore is that the communities that look like myself are thriving, are world renowned, that the energy and spirit that are in the youth, as well as the generational build up here in Baltimore, are presented with the fruits that it is owed. There's a strong cloth, a strong spirit here in Baltimore, and it's time that the world see Baltimore in the light that it should be seen in. There has been a lot of projects that has, or people that have been put in a better light for the wrong reason, if you will, for Baltimore, right? We know about the wire, we know about the corn and things like this, and those are great projects. Some of the best projects that hit cable TV.
No, we tired. I'm personally tired of HBO coming here trying to tell me what my city is.
Well, that's what I'm saying. And
I'm tired of it. They don't speak for me. You know, that's a part of it. That ain't all we do.
No. And while those projects, for their own reasons, right? While it was the most populated cast by a minority on cable TV, right? We'll take that. But what I'm saying is, it's time that Morgan,
my problem with them, these are people not from the Black community, from another city, with their little aerial perspective. They ain't from Baltimore. If they were from Baltimore, I'd buy it. You ain't even from Baltimore, so you have an aerial, superficial view.
And
these people, HBO.
And
they say we own the city. I'm sick of that. Let me tell you why. We ain't owning jack. We need some property. We need some deeds. We got tennis shoes. We need deeds. We own the city. Let's get some houses. Let's get some land. Let's get some property. Let's not just say it. We own the city because it's slick. Let's get some damn deeds.
Agreed.
Okay, well, we about to wind up. What you want to tell them before we
go? Keys Development, Keys Empowers, Keys Healing Village. We're going to show you what that one Baltimore looks like. We need everybody to be a part of this project. Come on out, give back, find out how you can give back in West Baltimore, be a part of rebuilding West Baltimore.
I particularly want to make sure that we link some of the icons of West Baltimore. Of course, you already know a lot of the icons. You know Sophia Robb, Rennie Bass.
Absolutely.
You know, these cats been doing the work for a long time.
Absolutely. Got to shout out Rennie Bass, Sophia. Got to shout out Senator Hayes, whose vision for West Baltimore is impeccable. And his spirit for West Baltimore is to be challenged by none. His leadership in this project is never to be undervalued and or underappreciated.
And we as a community have to stay involved. Go to community meetings. Come to your center.
Yeah.
Call. Matter of fact, how can people reach out to you?
Sure. So on all social media platforms, Keys Empowers. Keys Empowers on all social media platforms. Myself, I'm Abdul Salaam on any social media platforms. You can reach out to me directly. And there will be plenty of fanware and literature about how to be involved at the site. coming up. Just come by. We'll start to feed individuals soon again. We'll start to do our different cookouts and things of that sort right there at the site. It doesn't have to be anything going on. We'll bring the music out, so come out, have some fun. We'll bring the moon bounces out as we've been doing pre-COVID. We only stopped because COVID happened. Previous to that, every Sunday for about 2 years.
What's the address?
1511 Ashburton. 1511 Ashburton. If you take Dukeland all the way down to Baker, you run out. If you know the old Lillian Jackson, school. Earlier you asked about how we knew this was the spot as well. When we knew that Lillian Jackson was a school for challenged, we said, hey, this is a no-brainer. This is us. And I did my internship at Morgan at Lillian Jackson as well. So it was like, come on. You
down there by the train tracks. Only a few of us in West Baltimore know about them train tracks.
Know about them train tracks. But the beautiful thing about that is that we're gonna change the mindset of that area of Baltimore. I'm telling folks, just think Atlanta, think DC, think District of Columbia, right? If you've seen the change of these communities, you know what's coming in Baltimore. You know what's coming.
But we got to be involved. We got to be involved so as to shape it, to give our input, to be a part of it. Because when we don't show up, and I want you all to hear me, when we don't show up, when we let other people speak for us, you end up with bike lanes on North Avenue with nobody in bikes and nobody going nowhere fast.
Like you, neither does the outcome. I said, when the meeting don't look like you, neither is the outcome. So we got to start meeting and start producing. Got finished.
I would be remiss. Are there any sisters involved?
Absolutely. Got to shout out.
I want you to be safe because you don't acknowledge them women, you're going to have problems. You ain't going to have no lunch today.
Oh, absolutely. Definitely got to shout out Asia Doswell and Erica Robinson. Sure. Got to shout out Sharon Green Middleton for all her leadership and involvement with Keys and Powers in our projects and programming. So there's been plenty of women. Tracy Eastet. There's always women that are in the forefront, not in the back, in the forefront of what we're doing here at Keys. So we appreciate all of them.
Good deal. Abdul Salaam, thank you so much. Any final thoughts?
Hey, appreciate you, Donnie, your consistency for showing that we have the platforms that we need to uplift the stories, the individuals, the leaders, and those that are not even leaders, that they have great stories. And you are sure that their stories are just there, because everybody's not trying to be a leader. And some of us just have stories that need to come to the forefront. So thank you, Donnie. Shout out to everybody that's doing the work in Baltimore. If we could connect in any way, let us know. We look for One Baltimore. Come out to Keys Village. We look to have everybody at the ribbon cutting soon. So we'll be doing the work. If you don't see us, we'll be doing the work. Donnie will be trying to find us to spotlight us, but we'll be somewhere in the shadows just doing the work, Donnie.
Before you go, how much is this project?
This is a $7 million project.
Woo! I'm excited. Abdul Salaam, thank you, big brother.
Hotel quality, Donnie. All the bells and whistles. We're not going to cheat Baltimore of anything. We're not going to do it right. We're not going to do it. Yeah, we're not going to do it right. We're not going to do it.
Salute you, sir.
Appreciate you.
My name's Donnie Glover. Stay tuned for Mr. William Honolulu at 10 o'clock. Keep watching BlackUSA.news and have a powerful day.